Alright, in this video we are going to be solving for x for this triangle here, and in order to solve one of these and to solve for x, or if it was asking you to find an angle, there's a couple things that you got to remember. And I've noticed I wrote a note up here, and the main thing is you need to remember that the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the two non-adjacent angles within the triangle. And now when I say within, you may also just refer to these as interior angles. Now notice when I say adjacent, I'm talking about this angle that's missing right here. So this exterior angle will be equal to these two angles that are not beside it, right, or what we call adjacent. Now with that being said, we can go ahead and we can set this equation up to solve for x to figure out what the value is. So I'm going to write here at the top, our goal is to solve for x. Now we'll make another video of us solving for an angle, but right now we're just solving for x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my equation, and I'm going to first write these two equations, right, these two expressions I should say, on the left side of my equation. In other words, I'm going to start with this top one right here. I have 7x plus 1, and then I'm going to go ahead and write the angle at the bottom is 86, so plus 86, and I'm going to set this equal to this exterior angle out here, 18x minus 1. So these are the two interior angles over here being added together, and this is the exterior angle outside the triangle. And what I'm going to do now is go ahead and just treat this like any regular equation, and I'm going to combine like terms and then solve for x and by isolating it. So the first thing I want to do is I notice that I have a constant value of 1 and a constant value of 86 right here. So I'm going to put those two values together, and that's going to give me 87. I'm going to bring down the 7x, bring down my equal sign, and I have 18x minus 1 over here. So we're getting closer to being done. We made it a little bit simpler. The next thing I want to do is I want to move all my constant values to the right. And when I say constant, I'm talking about the ones that are just a number without a variable. So everything that doesn't have a variable is a constant. Now here we're adding 87, so if I want to move it over to the right side of the equal sign, and I'm going to draw a line through here just so you can see that we're keeping it balanced, we want to do the opposite of adding, which is subtracting, and we like to call that our inverse operation. Now 87 minus 87 is 0, and I'm going to go ahead and subtract 87 from this right side. Now for this one, notice it is a negative number, and if you're not good at combining negative values, I would just recommend getting your calculator to do it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to type in negative 1 plus negative 87. So negative 1 plus negative 87. Hit enter, and when combined it gives me negative 88. The next thing I want to do, now that I got my constant values all moved to the right, is I want to move my variables to the left. So I'm going to put right here just a note, variables left, constant right. Now if I want to move 18x over to the left, I have to do the opposite of what's happening here. Now this is a positive 18x, so to move it I'm going to subtract it, and that leaves me with 0 x's on the right hand side. And then I'll subtract 18x from the left side. Now I have 7, right, 7x and negative 18x. I'm going to combine those terms, and so really I'm adding those terms. I'm always combining things, but I'm going to go ahead and put 7 plus negative 18 to see what it gives me. And notice it gives me negative 11. So I'm going to write right here, this is going to be negative 11x. Now all we have left is a negative 11x on the left, right, that's our variable, and we have negative 88 on the right, that's our constant value. And our final step is to go ahead and isolate the variable x by dividing by its coefficient. Now the reason I know to divide here, whatever number is in front of x, is because anytime a number is in front of a variable, it's being multiplied, and the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So for this step, we're just going to divide. So I'm going to divide by negative 11, and I'm going to do that on both sides, because remember, whatever we do to one side, we must do it to the other side to keep it balanced. this will go, anything will go into itself one time. So negative 11 divided by negative 11 leaves us with positive 1. And the only thing that's left over is just an x is equal to. And now I'm going to get my calculator to divide this negative 88 by negative 11. So negative 88 divided by negative 11, and that gives me positive 8. And that is my final answer. We have now isolated x, or you could also look at it as we just made sure that x had a coefficient of 1, and we followed our process here to divide on both sides, so then our constant value became 8. So x is equal to 8, and that is the answer.